not a YouTuber, just like making videos. And you know, it's kind of hard to stand clear of the gale winds of Tommy Sotomayor. But you know, Tommy has this theory about the talented 10th. I don't know if he's been saying this theory often or not in his newer videos, but I know it was one of his little slogans there. I came out with a video debunking his theory, but I want to read. I was reading this book called The Little Universe of Man, and what do you know? It mentions something or other about the talented 10th. Let me read this passage. You know, it's talking about blacks and slavery. What then was the position of former slaves? The majority preferred to work where they had always worked, as tenants now of the master they already knew. They had not sought freedom, but now they were free. They could be unemployed. They were no longer the capital protected by the white planter. They were the labor competing with the white worker. They began to move north as the escaping slaves had done for 200 years, but now by rail instead of by road. The movement was from southern fields to northern cities. At first it was a movement of the talented 10th, a census of 1860 the census of 1860s had scored 12% of Southern Negroes as mulatto, and the migrants were the enterprising products of hybridization, and who believed themselves capable of coping with the problems of white city life. Now, if you didn't really understood what I'm saying, it talks about, you know, slavery. You know, when slavery was going around and still going on, the people, the so-called Negroes that moved away, that can migrate from the plantations and be able to cope with the city life, because black people were considered rural type people back in those days. But basically the black people that were smart enough to interact with white people in the cities and you know, try to somewhat be on their level was considered the talented 10th. So the talented 10th of black people are only black people that are interacting with white people on a basic level. You know what I'm saying? Inside the cities or whatever. You know, so it doesn't mean that they're as brilliant as the brilliant minds of white people. You know what I mean? Like the talent, they wouldn't be even compared to the talented 10th of white people, which would be people that fucking invent rocket ships. It also means to say that the talented 10th was also mulatto. So we're going back into what Tommy Sotomayor says. He talks about how mulattoes, mixed people, are superior to black people, and he talks about this talented 10th. You know what I'm saying? These, you know what I'm saying? This number, this section of black people that have the ability to become productive citizens in the white man's world. Basically, the talented 10th are basically people that can manage on the level of white people. Doesn't exactly mean that they're just these talented people that can, you know, invent a time machine or some shit like that, and they're mulatto. So all you numbskulls, Tommy fans, who actually thought that he was able to come up with that theory was his own original idea. No, it was an idea that's been floating around. I'm like, he kind of took it and kind of twisted it up, but how twisted? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? How did he morph this idea? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's almost like he took this idea for face value. And also, it's also interesting to figure out that in 1860, you know, 12% of the black population was mulatto, you know. So there was more mulattoes then than there is now. So as I said, you know what I'm saying, there was a lot of slave masters that were, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, getting it on with that black bush, you know, because black females didn't have any rights or whatever. They were considered property, and even the black females that were free back then, you know what I mean? I'm like, a white guy can jump out the bushes and rape them. You know, he ain't gonna go to jail for it. You know, he ain't gonna sit there in a court of law and have a trial for raping a black woman, especially in certain parts of the country. You know, there was no abortion pill back then, so a female just had to have that kid. So that's also an interesting tidbit, that there was just, you know what I'm saying, so many mixed children back in those days. And these mixed children was considered to be the talented 10th. The talented 10th are basically people who have white blood in them and can manage in a modern world. You know, so that's just, you know, the book I got this from is it's called The Little Universe of Man, a book that was I think published in 1976, 1977, something like that. It's a pretty old book. No, 1978. You know, written by a guy named C.D. Darlington. Yeah, C.D. Darlington. Looks like probably his author's name, not his real name. But I just want to share that with you. Alright, thanks for watching.